I want to thank the Alliance for Retired Americans for inviting me to join you today as we celebrate Medicare's 47th anniversary. Let me start by assuring all of you of my commitment, continuing commitment, to protect not only our current senior citizens, but future senior citizens by making sure we keep Social Security and Medicare being delivered in its current form. You know, there has been many attempts throughout the years to privatize Social Security, and more recently we're seeing attempts by Paul Ryan and the Republicans to turn Medicare into a voucher program. We know here in Western Pennsylvania that generations of Americans have earned these benefits, and we know how important they are to seniors, especially here in Western Pennsylvania. That's why I've been such a strong supporter of Social Security and Medicare. You know, when Medicare was created in 1965, this was a program that has guaranteed our older Americans affordable, high-quality health care in which you choose your own doctor. Like Social Security, Medicare has taken away some of the worry that used to exist out there as people were growing old and in poverty. Life expectancy has increased, and in some part it's a result of better health care that Americans have received in their old age, and so has the quality of life. Now, these are significant achievements. However, the task of ensuring that Medicare continues to fulfill its promise for the millions of Americans who have earned their benefits that have yet to reach that age, we have to make sure it's there for them the way it was there for retirees that are on the program. Before Medicare was created, nearly 30% of Americans lived in poverty. 30% of senior citizens lived in poverty before Medicare. Today, that number has been dramatically reduced. It's less than 10%. Yet many seniors are still facing high medical bills and tough choices about paying for health care, along with the other necessities of life. Since its introduction, Medicare has been associated with a 40% reduction in older Americans' out-of-pocket medical expenditures, as well as a decrease from 25% to less than 20% of the elderly population disabled by a chronic disease. And congressional Democrats recently passed health care reform legislation that expands benefits for Medicare beneficiary and at the same time increase the Medicare program's financial health. Now, we know this program is under attack. Republicans in Congress have sought to address the rising cost of health care by shifting more of the burden from the government to the individual. They argue that if seniors have to pay more for their health care costs, they'll be more responsible and seek health care more selectively. This is their theory. Consequently, over the last several years, House Republicans have proposed to turn Medicare into what they're calling a premium support program. They hate it when we call it a voucher program. They call it a premium support program. Well, what does that mean? What that means to the average older American is that each year the government's going to give you a voucher or some premium support and send you out into the market to buy private health insurance. To top it off, this premium support would increase each year, but less than the rate of medical inflation. So the idea is each year seniors are going to have to pay a little bit more out of their pocket to buy their health care. Over a decade or so, seniors would end up paying about $6,000 a year more out of pocket, and the amount they'd be on the hook will continue to grow each year after that. And that's assuming many of them could even purchase private health insurance at an affordable price, or at any price for that matter, depending on what their health condition is. Before Medicare was created, private health insurance was so expensive that it was out of reach for most seniors, and many older Americans couldn't buy insurance at any price because companies considered them too much of a risk. At the time that President Lyndon Johnson signed the Medicare bill into law, 1 in 8 seniors had health insurance. Think about that. Before President Johnson signed that law, only 1 in 8 seniors had any health insurance. That's what, and this is just 1965. This isn't 1865. This is 1965. We can all remember. I can remember back to 1965. This year, House Republicans now, they've adopted a slightly different proposal for Medicare. Their initial proposal that I described earlier received such negative press, and they got so much flack for it, that they decided to rework the plan. So this year, their so-called Medicare reform plan still consists of premium support. They're still going to wean you off the government program. But they include a government-run health insurance program similar to today's Medicare as an alternative. If you can't get a private insurance company to insure you, they'll have a government-run program that will have to insure you. They don't say what the premium is, but it's still premium support. Each year, you're going to pay more and more out of pocket. Now, it sort of makes me a little bit angry when they say that the rationale behind this is that seniors are being irresponsible because their health care is free, they use too much of it. I mean, that's basically what they're saying. That you guys love to go to doctors, and you love to take more pills, and you know that you can't think anything better to do in your old age but to sit in hospitals or emergency rooms or go to doctor's offices and make appointments and see how many prescriptions you can get. I mean, it just makes you crazy when you think about it. You know, we see experience in our neck of the region where seniors are delaying trips to the doctor because of the out-of-pocket costs, where they're splitting pills because their prescriptions, I mean, I know my mother-in-law is on 12 different medicines. I mean, she's not on 12 medicines because she enjoys taking them. And the cost of that, once you're in that donut hole, if you're in Medicare Part B to D, becomes very high. So the thought that seniors are abusing their health care benefits because they're free, I think is rather insulting. And let's talk about Medicare Part D too. This is also under attack. House Republicans have been trying to repeal the Affordable Care Act. From Mitt Romney down, you'll hear that all they want to do if they get control of the place is they're going to repeal the Affordable Care Act. Well, that phases out the Medicare Part D prescription drug donut hole. I mean, we have put in the act where eventually seniors will not have to pay any money for being in the donut hole. This year, the average senior that falls in that donut hole is going to save about $600. But the plan is that over a period of time, by 2020, there will be no more donut hole. So seniors will be able to have their prescription drugs without having to come out of pocket. They want to eliminate that. They want to abolish the Affordable Care Act and therefore abolish that benefit. This provision alone is already saving Medicare beneficiaries hundreds, if not thousands of dollars each year. Now, the average saving, you hear a lot of talk in the Affordable Care Act that it cuts Medicare by $500 million. Republicans saying they're going to cut your Medicare $500 million. This doesn't affect anybody's benefits. These cuts and these savings in the Medicare program came on the provider end. But they've scared a lot of seniors into thinking somehow Democrats are cutting Medicare benefits. It's not happening. In the Affordable Care Act, the average savings for a senior in traditional Medicare over the next 10 years is estimated at $3,500. And for anybody that falls into Medicare Part D donut hole, those savings could be more than $12,000 over the same period of time. Half of all seniors have incomes less than $22,000 in this country. For most seniors that are living on fixed incomes, these savings mean a lot, and repealing them, as the House Republicans are proposing to do, are going to devastate millions of senior citizens. It's going to push them further into poverty. It's going to end up costing all of us a lot of extra money too, because keeping chronic conditions like blood pressure and diabetes under control by providing free preventative care and affordable medicines, it saves all of us money in the long run. We all benefit by making sure people get the treatment early, that they stay on their medicines, and that we do preventative care. This lowers the cost of health care for everybody. When we deny these benefits to people, they delay going to the doctor until the condition gets so bad that it's much more expensive to treat. So when you look at the Republican plan for addressing seniors' health care problems, it's not just cruel, it's wasteful and inefficient too.